Hello and welcome to Black Box Trading. I am your host, JT, also known as Baloo the Bear. And here on the channel, we focus on crypto technical and fundamental analysis. If you're new here, I want to invite you to subscribe. We cover the biggest moves in the cryptocurrency market. We are also the founders of Black Box Trading Bots. So if you don't already know, this is a trading bot that will trade Bitcoin on your behalf. It is a investment style trading bot. It's not a high frequency trading bot. It's only programmed to capture the biggest moves in the market. So capture the bottoms and sell the tops with Black Box. So in today's video, I want to cover the cryptocurrency market as a whole. I want to cover our flip in bias on Bitcoin, how the bot is trading, how we are navigating the markets, and what is going on with the altcoins. So without any further ado, let's jump right into it. And I want to start things off by looking at total 2. So you may have already seen this chart if you're following me on Twitter. If you're not, go ahead and follow so that you can get this information sooner. You know, I don't stream every day, but I do tweet quite often. And we're looking at the market from a Wyckoff accumulation point of view. Now, Bitcoin has been the trade. Bitcoin has been the asset to be in up to this point. You know, we can start to see a little bit of outperformance in the altcoins now, and we'll dive into specific altcoins as well as kind of the momentum shift in the altcoin space. But as it stands right now, you know, we're looking like we have signs of accumulation and that there are clues leading us to believe that we have a bottom here. So this is the Wyckoff accumulation schematic number 1. You can see all of the different points here: preliminary support, seller's climax, automatic rally, yada, yada, yada. We can see all of those points right here. So this is kind of the trading range that we're looking at when it comes to total 2. For those who don't know, total 2 is the entire cryptocurrency market cap excluding Bitcoin. So it's basically all of the altcoins. So the altcoins are still in this they're showing signs that we could be bottoming here. Now, I have it marked out right now that phase C has already occurred. I want to make it clear that there is a potential that phase C hasn't even happened yet. Okay, so I'll show you the two scenarios as to what we would be looking for a confirmation as to whether phase C is in or not. And what I'm looking for is basically a jump in Wyckoff. It's called the jump across the creek. And a jump across the creek is basically a break of a resistance. And the resistance that we have right here goes back to kind of this automatic rally level. You know what? It actually lines up a little bit better with this up thrust up here. We'll make that a different color. Actually, we'll just call it creek. Change the color to white. Change that to white. And so we're looking for a break above this downward sloping line of resistance. The creek is not always going to be a downward sloping line of resistance. It's just going to be a break of resistance somewhere in phase B or C. In this case, we're looking at D. So what we would be looking for from this point forwards is a break above this level and a sign of strength. The next thing that we need to see in this accumulation to determine that phase C has already happened is we need to see a sign of strength. We do not see a sign of strength just yet. So we need to be open to all of the different possibilities that could take effect here. So a sign of strength, you know, would get us outside of the range. It would be a very powerful move, and it'll begin to start flagging in what's known as a backup phase. Backup phase is getting on top of that accumulation trading range, consolidating before continuation. So as it stands right now, that is not the case. That's not where we're sitting. So what to look out for is a potential spring. So let me kind of back things up a little bit here. Erase some of these drawings. What is that? Is that a drawing? And let's move some of these over a little bit. So let's just say that, you know, this is going to trade sideways a little bit longer. We can slide our phase D down. We can move our phase C down. And let's pretend, we'll keep the creek there. And let's pretend that we haven't seen the C yet. Now, phase C is usually identified as a trend shift, okay? Whether it is an LPS, last point of support, or whether it is a spring, which is a fake out to the downside. What to look out for is some sort of shape like this, where let's say we consolidate at the bottom of the range, we get a move down that shakes out the last remaining participants, and then you get a break back up. This would be your test. And then you continue to get your sign of strength move. The sign of strength is breaking out of the range to the upside, and the spring is breaking out of the range to the downside. So we could be looking at it like this. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's move this over here. Last point of support, and the test would be getting back inside of the range. So it's possible that we haven't seen the spring yet, okay? This is very easy to navigate currently because we haven't jumped across the creek. We haven't broken our resistance. If we break our resistance and go to a sign of strength, we know that phase C has already occurred. If we get a rejection here and we start to trend down, it's likely that phase C has not occurred. Long story short, we're showing signs of accumulation, and it's plausible for us to start thinking about portfolio allocation when it comes to the altcoin space. That's kind of the TLDR of what I'm trying to communicate here. But let's switch gears here for just a moment, and let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin just got a pretty bullish close here on the weekly. Nice big green candle getting above the resistance on top of the trading range for this Wyckoff accumulation range. I wouldn't be surprised to have a retest of this candle. You know, we had a big move. This is a 10.41% close here on the weekly candle. I wouldn't be surprised to get a test down to 28.6. But I will also say that typically speaking, when Bitcoin does break out, it doesn't really retest very much. So it could absolutely just take off from here. So let's talk about the bearish potentials, and we'll talk about the bullish potentials. I know people probably want to hear the bullish stuff first, so let's go ahead and cover the bullish stuff first. The bullish case scenario is we break past this resistance here. Let's go over to the area chart here on the daily. And it's this area down here. You can see the consolidation range down here at the preliminary support before we had our capitulation after the FTX collapse. This is kind of the area that we want to focus in on. This has been the area of rejection. We have been rejected from this area once, twice, and now potentially looking at a third time for a rejection, but we're not covering the bearish right now. We're covering the bullish. This is the make or break. You can see that this resistance point has also been tested numerous times throughout the previous cycle as well. So let's get the candles back on. Let's go to the weekly. And let's talk about the bullish. So the bullish we get above this resistance. Currently, the top of this resistance is at 31.9, so we'll just call it $32,000. If Bitcoin can trade above $32,000, I think that there's really not a lot holding it back from that point until we get to basically this area right here, this consolidation range up in here. I think would be a plausible area to target for profits. So we're looking at $50,000 to $47,000. There's really not much holding it back at that point. So if we do get above 32, I would not be surprised for us to rally all the way up into that general area. So we'd get a move up and rally up into this resistance, possibly get a rejection pre-halving. But, you know, we only take these one move at a time, one impulse at a time. When people say, hey, I predict it's going to go up to this point and then down to this point and then that, those guys are full of shit. They don't know what they're talking about. You can only ever look at the potential future in three ways. We either go up, down, or sideways. So you need to establish what you predict to be the price behavior in the context of up, down, or sideways. So we just covered what would be plausible for an upside move. Downside move is we get rejected from this area once again. So let's take off the 40 and 50. And we'll look at this area that has been a rejection zone for us multiple times. And we would be looking at potential rejection points down to, initially 28, then down to 25. If we lose 25, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we go back down to 18. Okay. Now, as it stands right now, as far as the bot is bullish. So let's turn alpha numerics on for just a moment. And let's just dive into what alpha numerics is saying. Hopefully this is not getting too cluttered. But basically, we had our downward sloping resistance here by these lucid SAR dots. We pierced through it on that fake news pump, when the ETF approval from Cointelegraph was announced on Twitter. We got a massive pump. It wicked up, hit our target to flip our bias, and now the wave is green. You can see the green wave here. Anytime the wave is green, we are bullish. Anytime the wave is red, we are bearish. So as you can see in this local range, we've been flip-flopping our bias quite a bit. Alpha numerics is not built for range-bound sideways environments. It's built for being on the right side of momentum. So we have been getting chopped a little bit in this local range, but we're bullish and it's going to be right eventually. So we're going to be positioned to the long side as it is right now, which is honestly what I recommend for 99.9% of people out there. You want to be positioned to the long side. Like, forget the day to day, forget the bullshit fundamentals. We're trading sideways here. We are in the accumulation zone. This whole area right here is the accumulation zone. Anywhere from $15,000 to $30,000, I consider Bitcoin to be a good buy. You would be buying in the same general area as down here from the previous cycle. Anywhere from, we'll call it $10,000 to $3,000. It was a wide range at the time, but in hindsight, it was nothing. It didn't matter if you bought Bitcoin at $3,000. Didn't matter if you bought it at $10,000. You're still up. You're still happy. The bull market has been good to you. And then even still further back, it didn't matter if you bought Bitcoin between the prices of, $150 to $300. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Hell, even $150 to $500, it didn't matter. You're in the accumulation zone. And this is the important thing that I want most people to recognize, is you're in the accumulation zone for the next cycle. So don't get too cheeky with it. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't use too much leverage. It's the time to be building your long-term positions in preparation for the upcoming run. Okay. So Bitcoin, we covered the bullish case scenario, we covered the bearish case scenario, but let's talk a little bit more about the rotation into alts. So we'll go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Now, Bitcoin dominance is still in an uptrend. Let's actually turn on RSI. Let's go to RSI here. And let's get a brighter color. Changed from light to dark mode. We don't need the moving average. Now we do have a bearish divergence occurring here. So you can see we have a high and a lower high here on the RSI, and here we have a high and a higher high. Now these can be easily invalidated. If price continues to push up, then the RSI is going to push up and it's not going to be a bearish divergence anymore. But we are looking at this area as a potential where we could begin to trend down. When this chart, let's turn off RSI for a sec. When this chart is in a downtrend, you want to have altcoin exposure. That's when the altcoins are really going to perform. We have not had good altcoin performance basically since it's been at its worst since September of 2022 onwards. So it's been a very long time. As it stands right now, we're looking at around 413 days of alts getting decimated, just absolutely wrecked. If you've been in an altcoin for the last 413 days, you've noticed that it's been very depressing. It's been, you're in the depression stage of the market cycle. And honestly, alts have been getting wrecked and have not really recovered since the last 889 days, which might resonate a little bit stronger with some of the people watching here. But if we get a change of direction here, let's say we get a move down and start changing this trend to downwards, well, now alts are going to really begin to perform. If anybody wants to let me know in chat any specific projects that you want me to take a look at, we will do so. I do have Chainlink on the roster today, so don't spam Chainlink. But yeah, we will get into that in a moment. Okay. All right, so change in momentum on Bitcoin dominance. Now, another way that you can measure the rotation of altcoins is to just simply look at the Bitcoin pair. Okay, when your altcoin is in a decline on the Bitcoin pair, it means that you need to remain in Bitcoin. And only when you start to see an outperformance, when you see green candles in an uptrend on the Bitcoin pair, now you want to think about rotation. Okay, so Ethereum BTC. We've seen this chart multiple times. This is not new to anybody who's been following the channel for a while. We've been in a downtrend. This, to me, this structure that we're looking at looks very, very weak. This is very similar to a Wyckoff distribution. Let me go ahead and pull up a picture of the Wyckoff distribution. Just have to boot up Discord. There we go. Okay. Uno momento. I should have had this ready. Apologies. There we go. Cardano, ADA. Hoop says ADA. We'll take a look at Cardano. Okay, so you tell me what this looks like. Granted, you do have to exercise a little bit more caution when you are using alternative currency pairs, but it's still noteworthy information because this structure that we're looking at here doesn't look fantastic. Let's actually go over to the area chart so you can see it a little bit clearer. But you can see we've got our buyer's climax. We've got our automatic reaction. We have an upthrust, failed upthrust. An upthrust is trying to break out of the range and getting a rejection. From that rejection, we reached a sign of weakness. This is breaking to the downside. Upthrust into an immediate break of the downside is a sign of weakness. So we have a sign of weakness here with Ethereum on the Bitcoin pair. We also got an upthrust after distribution, and we have been in this downtrend for 406 days. For the last 406 days, it has not been good to be in Ethereum. It has been better to be in Bitcoin. And that lines up perfectly with the chart that we just looked at, Bitcoin dominance. It was like 416 days or whatever of downtrend in alts. Okay. So this is, cementing that point. It's cementing that point that we're looking at weakness in the alts. Now, this has already been pointed out to me, so I will just let you guys know, we're sitting, this is a support area. This is a big support area. We've found support in this area multiple times, and we're currently sitting at that area. So we could change directions here. We could move to the upside. We could get a recovery, get above that downward sloping line of resistance, and begin to change the trend up. If we start to see this type of bullish price action on the Bitcoin pair of Ethereum, then yes, it's time to rotate into alts. Yes, it's time to get exposure to Ethereum. And it's time to get ready for the fucking bull market because the bull market is coming. The title of this show is Bear Market is Over. Now, when people hear that, they think it's up only. There are multiple phases to the bull market. The first phase of the bull market is sideways chop with a little bit of up. Okay, we're not out of the woods yet. It's still going to be a choppy market, probably until at least halfway through 2024. It's going to be choppy, which is why I really emphasize the fact that it should be in the spot markets. You should be accumulating in the spot markets. You should be building positions slowly in assets that you understand in preparation for the next run. You're not going to jump quickly in and out of stuff. It's not the right market conditions for that. Once we have high volume, once we have high speculation, then by all means, you can take some of the more traditional scalp and, triangle breakout trades. But as it stands right now, I highly recommend that you just stick to very low leverage and building positions. Biggest position that I'm building right now is Bitcoin. Along with that, I am dabbling in the ordinal space to get exposure to altcoins that have not been exposed to a Bitcoin bull market just yet. But I'm still heavy on the accumulation side. My trade side has been a very small percentage of the market. All right, let's continue down and take a look at Ethereum on its fiat pair. Still sitting at support. I had this angled a little bit more up based off of the closes, but I'm going to give Ethereum the benefit of the doubt that it can turn things around here. I'm going to go down to the wicks, and if we're looking at the wicks, we are holding support on this upward sloping triangle, which is a bullish formation. So if we can hold this level, if we can hold this key level at around $1,500 and start to break above, get above this resistance right here, get a nice move on top of that resistance and begin to rally, you're going to see a break of the Bitcoin pair. You're going to see Bitcoin dominance dropping, and you're going to start to see more of those signals, more of those signs that it's time to pick your alts. Where are we going? What are we doing? All right. Let's get into the traditional market here. Here we're looking at the dollar. This is the Dixie. Dollar is sitting on top of this range, looking to cool off a little bit. Huge run. So, the best case scenario for kind of a neutral market as far as cash is concerned is to just consolidate here for a bit, and then we will pick a direction, whether it is up or down. But if we get a rejection here, then you're going to see risk on come back to the market. So if you're looking for quick movements in money, then you want to see this go down. If we start to get the world a lot more scared and, more wars break out, or this, that, and the other, or there's a financial crisis here, financial crisis there, you're going to see the dollar continue to rise. But more than likely, we just chop sideways here as we consolidate at this new support level. So I anticipate this to just kind of carry on sideways. All right, let's catch up with chat real quick. What is your preferred method to fund BTC purchase? ACH, Plaid, Wire, Fedwire, or holding stables in a cold wallet? I purchase my Bitcoin through BISC. Oh, am I still streaming? Did I lose it? Please tell me I didn't lose it. No, we're still going. Okay. Yeah, I purchase on BISC. So I am going to be using applications like Zelle, applications like Wise Transfer, but I'm doing peer-to-peer transfers. So whatever the other peer is looking for as far as a payment, I will send that payment to them, and then they will send the sats to me. If you haven't checked out my video on BISC, just go to the YouTube channel, search BISC on the channel, and you'll find it. But yeah, I have been accumulating Bitcoin in that way, which is a much more private and secure way. Okay. Cardano, we're going to look at. Solana, we're going to look at. Litecoin, we're going to look at. Bitcoin Cash, we're going to look at. We can take a look at Tesla. Yeah, we'll take a look at Tesla. Good morning. What are your thoughts on EWT, Energy Web Token? We'll take a look. Do you want my opinion on the fundamentals, or do you want my opinion on the technicals? Chris S., do you trust this pump considering it was started by a scam pump / fake news and still a lower high? Also, the SPX broke up trend and put a lower candle, so technically bearish. Also World War III. Okay, Chris, you focus a lot on fundamentals. Great question, but don't ever take World War III into your investing decisions. You started off perfectly right by referencing a scam a scam pump and referencing the breakdown in the S&P, narratives don't matter. They never matter, okay? The herd will always come up with a justification, and they will always come up with a reason as to why something happened. And there may be a lot of truth in the price action, and there may be a lot of truth in the narrative, but it doesn't give you an edge, okay? I'm not saying that the news has no effect on the market. I'm saying the news has little effect on your ability to make trading decisions. That's it, okay? So let's take a look at the S&P. So the S&P, ugly, ugly, ugly on the weekly. Now, this is a kind of key area to look out for. Let's actually remove some of these drawings. And this is an area of interest for me. Right here, down in this range. Yeah, we'll say that. And we're going to close with a really ugly candle. Really ugly candle. So this will likely break the support. This will likely continue to trend to the downside. So the equities markets are not looking as favorable, which can absolutely, without a doubt, bleed into the cryptocurrency market as well. Okay. The only difference being, I think the biggest technical thing to make note of with these different sectors, you know, traditional stocks and cryptocurrencies, is stocks are still at their highs. Stocks are still at their highs. Like, look at this chart. You know, we're still trading at really large highs. We haven't had a big correction in the equities markets. Whereas when you look at total, you know, we've already had a huge correction. We've already not only had a huge removal of value, we have, like, you know, a 75% drawdown, but we've been trading sideways in an accumulation for a while. The SPY has not been doing that. You know, we came down, we came up for what could potentially be a dead cat bounce. Let's actually turn volume on just to see what the volume's telling us. Volume can be very helpful for dead cat bounces. Let's make that a little bit easier to see. If you see declining volume on a dead cat bounce, then it can indicate that, you know, that it's not a sustainable move. We're not getting any clues from the volume as far as this area is concerned. It's relatively the same amount of volume throughout. We had a big spike at COVID, and then it's just been kind of flat. So the volume's not giving us any clues. But the technicals based off of the price action are indicating that we're looking at further downside for the S&P. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. Same sort of story on the NASDAQ. We have a little bit further to fall here on the NASDAQ. Let's redraw our lines here. This is kind of the area of interest for me. So whereas the S&P has broken a key support level, the NASDAQ has not, but we have a further fall to go. You know, the NASDAQ is going to be dragged down by the S&P, so we could be looking at a further fall here. Could be a bull flag, it could turn around, but given all of those narrative reasons that you have, I think a lot of the herd is going to be reserved when it comes to allocating capital to risk on assets. I think the risk off assets are going to be a better play. And speaking of risk off assets, we can take a look at gold. Gold got a nice rally back up into this really staunch resistance here at around 1900. We can't seem to get above $2,000 for the price of gold, $2,000 per ounce. And it's just continuing to chop sideways. Now, if we break out here in gold while equities are taking a tumble, then it's showing the world that a lot of market participants are wanting to get away from risk on assets and move into these safe haven assets. What's nice about Bitcoin, not the cryptocurrency market, but Bitcoin, is we've seen that Bitcoin does thrive in crisis. You know, we had those bank failures, Silicon Valley Bank, and a lot of these small banks were failing, and that's what sparked the bottom. That's what gave us our automatic rally inside of Bitcoin. So when we are faced with crisis, Bitcoin has a narrative. When we are faced with bullish sentiment, Bitcoin has a narrative. So it's really going to be based off of the technicals, and the technicals are showing a bottoming pattern. So going back to what we were saying at the beginning of the show when we did our TA on Bitcoin, pay attention to those outcomes, because, you know, we're so close. It doesn't, you're splitting hairs here. You're in the accumulation zone, in my opinion. All right. Next up is Cardano. So let's take a look at Cardano here. ADA. We are damn near the fucking breakout of the previous cycle. Man, what an erase, what a removal of wealth this was. You had a whole fucking bull market, and we're right back to where the bull market started. Right back here. Let's actually highlight this downward sloping line of resistance. And look at that. That's just embarrassing. So actionable events, how to take action on Cardano. Like we've said in previous shows, you need to break this resistance. Okay, this downward sloping line of resistance right here, this downward sloping line of resistance, until this has broken, there is absolutely no clue, there is no proof that Cardano is ready to rally. Okay, until it breaks that resistance, it is not ready to rally. So it's in a downtrend. It's in a very tight range. Not a lot of people talking about Cardano. And I do believe that there have been some fundamental breakthroughs with the Cardano ecosystem. I don't really follow it. I don't follow many of the fundamentals on any proof of stake network. But, you know, these are the Twitter narratives that I'm hearing with the Cardano community. At 26 cents, you know, it's a good buy, honestly. Like if you're a Cardano fan, is Cardano going to be at a higher price during the bull market? Yes, it is. It's going to be at a higher price than 25 cents. That's pretty simple. But if you're looking for an actionable event as to when to enter, it's going to be at the break of that resistance. So if we get a break up, that's going to be your entry right there. You know, consolidate, get a break, maybe a retest, and then we're off to the races. So anywhere at the break of that is going to be your entry into Cardano. I want to congratulate you all. Seriously, I want to congratulate you all because you actually have 100x potential here. You actually have access to the best signals in the price cycle. The crypto tourists come, they mark up the market, they get wrecked, and they fucking leave. Okay, I've been through this before. You are looking at the best buys in crypto. The ranges are huge, right? You know, if we're looking at these ranges, let's just back this up a little bit. These ranges are nothing, they're no joke. You know, you're looking at a potential range between 25 cents to 50 cents. It's 100% range. So people get discouraged if, say, they buy, you know, the top of the range and then it retraces. They buy at 50, 60 cents and then it retraces back down to 20 cents and they lose their shit. It doesn't matter where you fucking buy in this range. It does not matter. You buy anywhere between 20 and 60 cents. When the bull market takes shape, you're going to be looked at as a fucking genius. And you're a genius because you're here. That's it. You're in the right place at the right time. Don't fall asleep at the wheel. Pay attention to what's coming because we're looking good. We're looking good. Doesn't mean that I think we're going to go straight up from here. It means that I think building positions at these levels is a smart thing to do. Trade with smart money. Don't listen to dumb money. Okay. Binance Coin, my favorite fucking scam. This one is a unique one for me personally because this to me is a manipulated asset. I want to believe firmly that the market is correct. I want to believe firmly that the market will reward real value and punish fake value and fake scammers. I think CZ has been selling assets to prop up the price of BNB. Why do I think that? I think that because of this right here. From top to bottom, we're looking at a 74% retracement. 74. Bitcoin did 77. The highest market cap coin, the coin that has the most value and the highest track record, retraced more than BNB. You can't tell me that that is not manipulation. You can't sit there and tell me that BNB has more utility than Bitcoin. I'm sorry. This is a manipulated asset. And if the market is to be correct, and if the market is to correct the price of this asset, we're looking at $40 fucking dollars. We're looking at $40 fucking dollars for the price of BNB. And I want to see Binance go away. Fuck Binance. I think that, if you're going to play with paper Bitcoin, it's kind of the world that we're entering into. This next kind of they fight you stage is going to be over capital control. And we're going to see a lot of capital control. But, let's just focus on the technicals here. If we lose this level at 217 is the current price. If we lose this level, let's say if we take out this wick back here at 183, if we take out 183, there is nothing. There is no structure that has been built. Zero structure has been built on the way up. When zero structure has been built on the way up, it means that it's a huge vulnerability on the way down. So if we lose that level, we'll see you at fucking $40. Pretty simple TA on BNB. I'm bullish on most things. I am not bullish on BNB. There is bias because of how I believe that this is a manipulated asset. But aside from that, if all alts rip, then BNB can avoid fucking certain death here, and it can rally off of this support level. But I would prefer to see the space cleansed. Okay. Moving on to Bitcoin Cash. So Bitcoin Cash is another interesting one for me. Very nice consolidation. Let's actually go to the daily chart onto the area. Are you buying alts yet? No. Yes and no. The alts, I have been positioning into alts, but they're not on any exchange. I'm heavy in the ordinal space right now. So I'm buying Track. I'm buying the shitcoin Sats, not Bitcoin. It's some other shitcoin called Sats. I've been buying Pipe Punks. I've been dabbling heavily with the ordinal space. So everything that I'm talking about as far as these alts that I'm buying, you've never heard of. They're not available on exchanges. You can check my my ordinal inscriptions video if you would like to dabble. But it's DeFi on Bitcoin is coming. So here's the trading range for Bitcoin Cash. And let's actually turn the candles back on. No, we'll keep them off. We had a sign of strength. So seller's climax, automatic rally, secondary test, kind of a spring. I mean, this is a sign of strength. This is absolutely a sign of strength. Just straight up, boom, big move. Now we can continue to consolidate here and maybe even come back down to rest on top of this trading range. But Bitcoin Cash looks good. It actually doesn't look bad. We could get a consolidation like that if the market decides to trade sideways for a little bit longer. We could get something that looks like that. We could just take off from here. But there's already a built-in narrative that is correlated with ordinals for projects like Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision, Litecoin. All of these assets are going to be faster Bitcoin. They're going to be better Bitcoin. We are going to see transaction fees on the Bitcoin network. If I was to guess, probably in the heat of the market, I don't think it's crazy to think that we could see $500 Bitcoin transactions. Mind-boggling, I know, but with the potential volume that could be coming into Bitcoin as a result of ordinals, as a result of DeFi on the Bitcoin network, the network's going to get fucking clogged big time. The mempool has not cleared since ordinals became a thing, and I don't think they are going to clear, period, for probably the rest of Bitcoin's existence. Maybe that's a little hyperbole, but I think that we're going to see a lot of volume. Now, when that volume and that network congestion comes in, fees are going to crank through the roof. And when they crank through the roof, everybody who is a Bitcoin casher, everybody who's a Satoshi Vision guy, they're going to be screaming, this wouldn't happen on our chain. This wouldn't happen. You got to get the cheap Bitcoin. We got the better Bitcoin over here. Come to Litecoin. All that bullshit. So any of those coins that are going to claim that narrative are going to do well in the upcoming cycle. All right. Next asset, Dogecoin. Kind of the same story. I don't want to dwell too much on Dogecoin. You know what? You can do, let's do Doge BTC. I think that's the better chart to look at for those who are looking to buy Doge. don't worry about the fiat pair. Just worry about the Bitcoin pair. And let's turn the candles back on. So until you see an uptrend, until you see green candles on Doge, on the Bitcoin pair, I know you denominate in dollars and everybody thinks in dollars, but if you're looking at performance, you need to make sure that if you're selling sats to buy Doge, that the Doge is actually in an uptrend. So until you see an uptrend here on this chart, I don't recommend buying Doge. Hex. Let's not dwell on Hex. Litecoin. So Litecoin's coming in for what I think is going to resolve as a double bottom. So still a Wyckoff accumulation range. A lot of what we're looking at is Wyckoff accumulation ranges. So let's drag that down to here. Open that up, and we can open it up to here. So we've got this structure here. So we've come in for our first bottom, and we could be coming in for our second bottom. Doesn't have to make a lower low. I'm just, shitty at drawing. But yeah, that would be, I think there would be an incredible buying opportunity down here at the lower end of the trading range, looking at $40 for the price of Litecoin. If you see Litecoin at $40, I think it's going to be a good buy for the next cycle. Okay, what are my thoughts on Curve, dead coin? We'll take a look at Curve, but we got to get through Solana here. So support/resistance flip, super clean, super easy chart to read. We're here on the weekly chart. This is the line in the sand. As long as we are below 30, we are going to stay below 30. We are up against resistance right now. If we break above resistance, if we get on top of this, you'll probably actually see a sign of strength move, and then we can consolidate. But as long as we are below this level, there is nothing actionable for Solana. But Solana's had a good week. Solana is up 32% on the week. So congrats to all the Solana boys out there. XRP, similar story to Litecoin. I'm probably going to call this a double bottom formation. So anything down at the lower range at around 28 cents. Let's actually just mark the range right here. Get kind of this double bottom formation here in XRP. Fucking hate XRP, but hey, people like it. Any buy down here at around 30 to 25 cents is a fantastic buy for XRP. Anything below 25 cents will likely be a spring, and that'll be a very rare buying opportunity that you're going to need to have liquidity on the exchange or have access to initiating a quick trade to capture that. It's not going to be below there for very long. Okay. Monero. Monero is kind of in an uptrend, kind of in a consolidation. I think Monero on the dollar is too hard to read. So let's go XMR BTC. Still downtrend. We don't have a change of trend here just yet for Monero. And we have this support/resistance flip that we need to overtake. You can see it's been support, fell down, and it accelerated as we lost support. Wasn't much of resistance, tried to hold it again, got below, now resistance, now we're back below. Until we can get above 6 million sats. No, 6 million sats per Monero. It's probably not going to outperform. But the moment we get above that and begin to trend to the upside, it's looking good. Now, the price action in this local range is very, very stable. So if you were a Monero bull, if you just like to accumulate, if you are building a Monero position, you're looking at a fantastic price right here. This is a really good buy. This is a fantastic buy here at around 5 million sats. 500,000 sats, whatever it is. You're looking at a pretty good buy here for the Monero bulls out there. But don't expect it to moon. It's not going to moon anytime soon, okay? It's not going to moon anytime soon. We still have a long road ahead of us, but we could be looking at a potential bottom, and we are absolutely looking at a DCA buy, 100%. See what Alpha Numerics says. Still bearish on Alpha Numerics. Okay, so we'll take a look at CRV. I think the problem with Curve is that, Ethereum DeFi's stablecoins are such a question, right? Like, where do we get clarity on stablecoins? Who's going to regulate stablecoins? Who's going to be allowed to regulate stablecoins? Are we going to get legitimately regulated stablecoins that become a part of the ecosystem? Or are we going to have to continue with shady ass Tether? And are we going to have to continue with questionable Circle? I think if we had more clarity on stablecoins, you could see some of these Curve pools come online that could incentivize these new assets. But as it stands right now, Curve is just a playground for whales. The Curve supply is infinite and it keeps getting minted to incentivize pools. So it's just going to kind of bleed out. There's no cap on the supply. It's an infinite amount of supply. And the more money that goes in, the more Curve gets printed. So I think it was a fun experiment, but I think we need to design better liquidity models. And with Ethereum, it's very fiat focused. It's very stablecoin focused. And I don't know if that works. We're going to have to see what happens with the Bitcoin model, where maybe there are no stablecoins for a while. Maybe it's just sats and you're getting yield on sats. I'm not sure. But as it stands right now, Curve definitely relies on volume, and we certainly just don't have volume. There's no volume in the market right now, especially on Ethereum DeFi. So it's gonna flatline. And as far as a speculative play, I think that there's going to be other opportunities out there, but who knows? I mean, if we break this resistance, you could take a punt. There's absolutely a trade setup if you can get above this resistance. I just think fundamentally speaking, and I know I've said don't focus too much on the fundamentals, but I think fundamentally speaking, there's going to be better opportunities out there, personally. New cycle, new coins. Don't get too tied up into what worked in the last cycle, because we're going to have new innovations, new ecosystems, and new coins for this cycle. So if you want some strong plays, I think Chainlink is a fantastic play. It's a good, strong asset. But some of these other ones may, in time, be deemed obsolete. I don't know for sure, but I think that Curve is not one that I'm personally going to be allocating towards, because I think there's going to be some pretty interesting stuff coming to the Bitcoin network. Speaking of Chainlink, so Chainlink had a beautiful, beautiful accumulation range here. It's actually pretty textbook accumulation range. And we have broken out. So we are looking at our sign of strength move. We have officially printed our sign of strength here. So what is the sign of strength? The sign of strength is when you get above the trading range. Clearly defined trading range that has been consolidating sideways for 525 days. So it's had longer accumulation than a lot of other alts. Other alts are at kind of like 400 days. We have an extra 100 days of accumulation here on Chainlink. Chainlink led the bull market in the last cycle. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a similar narrative take place, that maybe, Chainlink is the canary in the coal mine that lets us know that the bull market has started. So very powerful move on Chainlink. They got a 37% weekly close that just happened a few moments ago. And it's a sign of strength. We're looking really good for Chainlink. Now, Chainlink is a unique asset because it's basically required for any chain, any cryptocurrency chain, blockchain that wants to get price data into the blockchain. We need to know what the price of $1 is. You need Chainlink. You need to know what the price of XYZ is. You need Chainlink. So it's a cross-chain protocol that has demand. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, QNT. We'll take a look at that in a moment. If Binance went away, it would be a bigger dump than FTX. I think no. If Binance went down, because of where we are in the market cycle, we're in a bottoming pattern. We're down low. We can't lose that much more value. We're structurally quite sound. There's a lot of buyers in this demand zone at the lower end of the range that we've established. When FTX happened, it was the conclusion of a downtrend. So it was that final capitulation move. Now, fundamentally, Binance is bigger than FTX. So fundamentally speaking, you would think that it's going to be a larger fall, but fundamentals don't line up with technicals. And I think from where we are in the market cycle, if Binance went down or if CZ got arrested or if there was some drama that happened with Binance, I think it would actually have less of a reaction on the market from a technical point of view than what we saw with FTX, even though it would be a bigger fuck up. QNT, BTC moon right now. I don't think Bitcoin is mooning right now, is it? Oh yeah, we're fucking mooning now. Where's my rocket ship? Let's go. Let's go. Anyways. Okay, what else? QNT. We'll start off at the dollar pair. Dollar pair. Interesting chart. Kind of looks like Matic a little bit. Interesting chart in that we came down to this low and we kind of never went back down there. So that's an interesting characteristic for me. This is a kind of key support / resistance flip here. You can see how we have this anomaly where we came back down, but you can see multiple times. This was the breakout, held as support, held as support, held as support, support. And now we've broken back inside. Nice move on the week. We had a nearly 11% move, but we're still kind of below that area. So I think Quant will be one to watch out for a rejection. If we did get a rejection, then there's absolutely the possibility that we come back down to say $40 range and maybe trade sideways a little bit more. But it's at an awkward point right now. It needs to get back on top of this support. So if it reclaims the support and consolidates holding it as support, the best trade would be right here, right where it kind of gets back above. That would be a fantastic entry. But here, very tricky. You're at a resistance and we've held this multiple times. It's been well established as a support range and we're now at a resistance. So do be cautious with Quant. Okay. What was the other one that we wanted to take a look at? I guess that's it. Okay. Let's take a look at some of my BRC-20 tokens. For those who are keeping up with the alpha and allocating to the strong assets that I think are going to be worth a lot in the coming cycle. And this one is Track. What is Track? Kind of like Chainlink in a sense, but it's Track keeps track of ordinals on Bitcoin. It's incredibly important infrastructure that's incomplete right now. So the ordinals protocol is completely centralized as it stands right now. The goal is to make it trustless. The goal is to make it decentralized, but it's completely centralized right now. Track is trying to change that. If they are able to achieve that goal, then this is going to be a very important project. But as it stands right now, that is not the case. So we need to curb our enthusiasm. This is kind of the trading range for Track. We're at the lower end of the range here. It's a fantastic buying opportunity. I think if you can get anywhere around 24 cents, this has been one of the position plays. So anytime we have, a big move down, I've been just dollar cost averaging into Track. Not a huge allocation. This is an untested micro cap shit coin that doesn't even show up on the exchanges, doesn't even show up on anywhere. It's micro cap coin. But I think that it has a good potential as far as a narrative. And if they pull off what they're trying to achieve, then it's definitely going to go up in value. 21 million cap, and we're sitting at 33 cents. 21 million is the supply cap of Bitcoin. So you do the math. Another one that I've been keeping my eye on is Meme. This one, I didn't recommend to buy it. If you were around in the Discord when a lot of these BRC-20 tokens came into existence, I was telling you guys that I was minting this. I minted this shit for free. I got a lot of it for free. It's a meme coin. It holds no value, so I can't really recommend buying it as an investment, but I am observing it because I have a shit ton of it that I minted when ordinals first became a thing. So watching it, kind of forming a bottoming pattern, but hasn't really had a bullish move. Very wicky on top. But yeah, you can buy it on BitGet if you want. What are some other ones? Ordi got a nice move. It looks like Ordi's kind of bottomed here. If you guys don't know what these are the new tokens. These are the new tokens. New cycle, new coins. You know, this is the new ecosystem. DeFi on Bitcoin is being developed. So we're going to trade sideways here. We're up against resistance. The assumption is we come back down to the low. So looking at buying Ordi at around $3, I think would be a good move. Pepe, the BRC-20 Pepe. You saw what happened with the Ethereum Pepe. This is Bitcoin Pepe. And it's just accumulating. This is kind of the TLDR of the whole show. The whole show is we are looking at accumulations. We are looking at accumulations. This is kind of the big story right here, you know. We're in either phase B or phase D of a Wyckoff accumulation. So I think I'm going to start closing it out there. Oh no, we didn't look at Energy Web Token, VeChain, or Algorand. Sorry, Bodell. Didn't. I guess I just lost you in the chat here. So let's take a look at Energy Web Token, EWT. Now, my opinion on Energy Web Token is Bitcoin is an Energy Web Token. So I don't think that this narrative really fits reason. You can use any token you want for currency on an energy web, but how do you pay your power bill? How do you pay your power bill? In your local currency, okay? Now, can you program your use with a local currency? No, but you can program your use with Bitcoin. So if the power companies decide, hey, we need a programmable money so that we can program the use, the fair use of the energy, what do we use to do that? Chances are they're not going to choose Energy Web Token, in my opinion, because they want some sort of currency. They want some sort of money. So Bitcoin is an Energy Web Token. You know, you need energy to mine Bitcoin. It's basically backed by electricity. A bit of a far stretch for us to actually get to the point where your power company is accepting sats. But if we build stable coins on top of the Bitcoin Lightning Network, we could see some programmability. Fundamentally speaking, I don't think Energy Web Token is going to be doing anything. And it's been in a downtrend ever since. You know, it seems like every cycle there's a new Energy Web Token. The last cycle, the cycle before the last cycle, it was Power Ledger. I don't know if you guys remember Power Ledger, but Power Ledger was Energy Web Token. So we had Power Ledger in the 2017 cycle. Then we had EWT in the 2020-2021 cycle. And then we'll probably get another fucking Energy Web Token in the next cycle. People just keep reusing these ideas and reselling and repackaging and rehypothecating these ideas, when in reality, all you need is programmable money that's an agreed upon medium of exchange, and Bitcoin fits that bill quite nicely. So this one is not showing any sort of bottoming pattern. And if it is showing a bottoming pattern, it's showing a bottoming pattern with a downtrend. So it's one of the weaker assets out there. If we put a trading range around it, you know, it's in a downtrend. So not showing relative strength, not showing comparative strength to any other asset. And I'm sure if we take a look at EWT on the Bitcoin pair, it's probably even nastier. So let's, yeah, it's not a lot of history on EWT BTC as far as Kraken. What has KuCoin got? Yeah, it's in a downtrend on the dollar. It's in a downtrend on Bitcoin. The other ones that you wanted to take a look at were VeChain. VeChain, just a complete erasal. That's not a word. Erasal. Sounds funny though. All of the gains from the previous market cycle are gone, and we're back sitting on top of the support/resistance flip of the prior cycle structure, and even below it. Ooh, yikes! I hope you're not. You're probably not gonna like what I have to say, but it's weak. It's weak. This is not good. You know, this was the prior cycle. This was the breakout. So this was kind of Bitcoin's all-time high break. You know, VeChain had the all-time high break, and then it went into bull market mode. We are now below, and not wicking below, trending below the all-time high break. This is not an indicator of health. And I think as far as the worst case scenario is concerned, I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility that we come down to potentially even a half a penny for VeChain here. So definitely one of the assets that looks weak. VET BTC. And it's not much better on the Bitcoin pair. It's just, it's lacking strength. Doesn't mean that strength can't come back. It just means that there's no strength now. And this is an important thing to consider. Where is the strength? When we're trading with the Wyckoff method, it's not just a pattern. We're not just looking for a pattern. We're looking at a trading range so that we compare other assets to each other to measure comparative strength. And when we look at VeChain to compare its strength to other assets, it's much weaker structurally speaking than other assets. So it wouldn't be a top pick for me. It wouldn't be one that I would be building a position into. You want to be building a position into something that is holding support, reclaiming levels, and somewhat tracking along with Bitcoin. And as it stands right now, the number one altcoin to do that with right now is Ethereum. Ethereum's been holding a bullish level and making those incremental steps in the right direction. Whereas this one, you at least want to see it flat. This one's not flat. It's downtrending. So its comparative strength is weak. Do I trust this pump? Isn't it all fake rumors of an ETF? It doesn't matter. You know, you just need a liquidity grab. When there is a liquidity move in the market, how the market participants react to said move is very telling. We are at a resistance. If you take a look at the Bitcoin TA, I discussed what the bullish potentials could be, and I discussed what the bearish potentials could be. We're at an observation point because we're up against that 30K resistance. 30K. Until we get above 32, we're at that 30K resistance. So if we break above 32, we're going to 50. If we get rejected here, we're probably going to 25 or even lower. And then the last one that you wanted to look at was Algorand. And it's not great. Comparatively speaking, we're actually at lower levels than we were in the previous cycle. So 2019, 2020, this was the 2020 COVID shakeout. We're actually at a lower level than COVID of 2020. So comparative strength, again, is very lackluster. There's interesting tokenomics on Algorand that I'm not familiar with. I encourage you to go look that up. I can't remember off the top of my head, and I'm not about to make something up, but there's something about the tokenomics with Algorand where there's a lot of the supply that's in VC hands or something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head, but go take a look at that. The price is tight here, but you know, we're at a lower level than we were in 2020. So comparatively, its ability to withhold value has not been great. You know, if you bought the bottom of 2020 in Bitcoin, you scalped at like $3,500, and we're now at $30,000. The comparative strength is progressing. We're reaching higher levels. We're overtaking support and resistance. If you sniped the bottom of 2020 on algo, you're actually at a lower price and you watched a whole bull market go by. So its comparative strength is really bad. 8 Stripes, so right, BTC is the OG energy token. And I think it's going to continue to be the energy token. Okay, so back to closing out the show here. We're getting close. Just to recap, what are you looking for? What are we looking for in the altcoin space? Two things, okay? Two charts are all you need. Oh, look at that. Balloons go up when I hold up a peace sign. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I think, new Apple updates doing weird shit. So the two things that you're looking for, we need to break above the resistance on total. You can see this downward sloping line of resistance. Checkbox number 1 is breaking above this downward sloping line of resistance. Go put this on your chart. Total 2, go put this downward sloping line of resistance, even set an alarm on it. And if we can break above that, that is step number 1. Step number 2 is going to Bitcoin dominance. You need to see a trend reversal here. Okay? So if we see a break of resistance, that's going to show comparative strength of the altcoin market when compared to Bitcoin and compared to fiat. When you see a trend shift, this Bitcoin dominance chart trending down, now it's time to go into altcoins. So are we there yet? No. If you're an accumulator of assets, sure, start building positions because we're kind of at the area. But if you're looking to trade momentum and rotate into action that, you get in and it takes off, until those two criteria have been met, we're not looking. I got to stop with the 2. I got to turn that off. Until those 2 have been met, then you're not going to look at any momentum plays into altcoins. That is all the time I have for today. If you guys enjoy this show, then don't forget to like, subscribe, follow if you're watching on Twitch, and join the Discord and check out Blackbox. Limited space. We are getting ready to launch our Bitcoin bot. Okay, so we have the Bitcoin Tether bot currently available. You can sign up with just an email, a password, and sign up with one of our partner exchanges and get a free Bitcoin trading bot that buys the bottom and sells the tops. But we also have the coin margined bot coming down the pipe. Now we are going to do an early access release for that. So if you want to get signed up, go to blackbox.pro, join the community. Let us know in the community that you would like to be signed up for the early access to coin margined futures. Currently, the bot only trades Tether. We're getting ready for the bot to trade inverse Bitcoin contracts, which is what I prefer. That is what Matt prefers. That's what a lot of the team prefers. And we have a lot of people very excited for that to come to the table. So we're weeks away from early access of the coin margin futures bot. But yeah, by all means, if you have any questions, check out the website. Come into the Discord, come say hi, come hang out. A lot of these other communities don't have a lot of action. I'm not saying we have a lot of action in our community right now either, but come on in and hang out. We're happy to field any questions that you have, happy to look at any charts that you want us to look at, happy to tell you more about ordinals, happy to tell you how to get ordinals and how to participate in the blossoming Bitcoin economy that's coming, and get you bull run ready for the next run. So anyways, that's all I got for today. Thank you all for joining in. Until next time, please trade safe. It is a jungle out there. Peace.